The air is changing. Can you feel it? A subtle shift, a whisper on the late summer breeze. For those who watch the skies, it's a sign. Something big is on the horizon. This isn't just another winter. This is winter 2025-26. It could be one for the history books. Two powerful forces are stirring. One brews in the deep Pacific, the other swirls above the North Pole. La Niña, a cooling of the Pacific. It can rewrite global weather maps. She cools the ocean. She shifts the jet stream, the superhighway of air. So what exactly is this mysterious force called La Niña? Let's break it down. Think of the Pacific Ocean near the equator as a giant bathtub. Usually the water is warm, but during a La Niña event, something changes. Stronger than usual winds push the warm surface water west, toward Asia, toward Australia. This allows cold, deep ocean water to rise up to the surface, off the coast of South America. This massive patch of cooler than average water is the heart of La Niña. It might be happening thousands of miles away, but its effects ripple across the entire planet. This cooling of the Pacific Ocean is a huge deal. It changes temperature patterns. It changes moisture patterns. This in turn alters the path of the jet stream. The jet stream is like a river of fast-moving air. It separates cold air to the north from warm air to the south. Now let's talk about the polar vortex. The name sounds like something from a science fiction movie, and its effects can feel just as dramatic. But it's a very real weather phenomenon. High up in the stratosphere, miles above the Earth's surface, a huge area of low pressure and extremely cold air swirls over the North Pole. This is the polar vortex. For most of the winter, it's strong and stable. A powerful jet stream acts like a fence, keeping this bone-chilling air locked up in the Arctic. When the vortex is strong, we get a relatively normal winter. The trouble starts when the polar vortex weakens. Imagine a spinning top, spinning fast, stable, slowing down, wobble, and drift. The same thing can happen to the polar vortex. Weather events farther south can send waves of energy up into the stratosphere, disrupting the vortex. That disruption can cause it to stretch, or it can wobble or split into two, even three, smaller vortices. When this happens, the jet stream fence breaks down. The beast is unleashed. What happens when these two atmospheric heavyweights enter the ring at the same time? A La Niña winter combined with a disrupted polar vortex can create a scenario we call a perfect storm. It's a clash of titans that can lead to some of the most extreme winter weather imaginable. La Niña sets the underlying pattern for the season. It primes the atmosphere, steering the storm track farther south. It also ensures a steady supply of cold air from Canada. This can make for a harsh winter in the northern United States. It loads the cannon, but a wobbly polar vortex is what lights the fuse. When the vortex stretches and sends a lobe of Siberian-level cold plunging southward, it meets the active storm track set up by La Niña. This is where things get truly wild. The extreme cold deepens storms, making them more powerful. The temperature difference between frigid Arctic air and milder southern air becomes incredibly sharp. That sharp contrast fuels storms, spinning them up into nor'easters and bomb cyclones. To understand what this winter could hold, we only need to look back. History is filled with winters where La Niña, the polar vortex, teamed up to deliver unforgettable cold and snow. Do you remember the winter of 2013 to 2014? Chicago was dubbed Chiberia as temperatures plummeted to 16 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, with wind chills hitting 40 below. The cold was so intense that it caused frostquakes. Then there was the winter of 1995 to 1996, a classic La Niña season. The Northeast was absolutely buried in snow. It was a winter of attrition. Often the most memorable events happen when these two patterns overlap. In February 2021, a severe polar vortex disruption plunged deep into the heart of the country. Power grids failed. So what is the specific forecast for this coming winter? This is where we enter the realm of the great unknown. As of late August 2025, the signs of a developing La Niña are becoming clearer. The Pacific is cooling. Models point toward a classic La Niña this fall and through winter. This gives us a baseline. Expect a colder, snowier than average winter across the northern half of the U.S. The Pacific Northwest, the Northern Rockies, the Great Lakes, the Northeast. The southern states, meanwhile, should prepare for the opposite. La Niña typically pushes the storm track north, leaving the south high and dry. That could worsen drought in places like Texas, Oklahoma. The southeast. North, bracing for blizzards. South, increased wildfire risk even in winter. The great variable is the polar vortex. Will it stay strong or will it weaken? Nowhere is the drama of a surprise winter storm felt more acutely than in a place like New York City. The city that never sleeps can be brought to a standstill by a sudden blast of snow and ice. I'll never forget the storm of January 2011. It wasn't even a blizzard by official standards, but it hit during the evening commute. The snow came down so fast and furiously that it overwhelmed the city's ability to keep up. Buses were abandoned mid-route. Subway lines were shut down. Thousands of people were stranded in their cars on the unplowed highways and side streets, some for over 12 hours. It was a powerful lesson in how quickly a winter storm can turn a bustling metropolis into a frozen parking lot. Another memorable New York story is the Lindsay storm of February 2010. The forecast was for a few inches, but a narrow, intense band of snow set up directly over the city. It dumped nearly a foot of snow in just a few hours. The timing was terrible, and the city was unprepared. It was a classic example of how even the best forecasts can bust, and nature has the final say. With a potentially fierce winter on the way, preparation is not just a suggestion, it is a necessity. Being ready can make the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major emergency. Let's start with your home. This is your shelter, your fortress against the cold. Take the time now before the first freeze to check your heating system. Have your furnace inspected and serviced. Check your insulation, attic, and around pipes. Use weather stripping to seal gaps. Use caulk around window and door frames. Next, let's build your emergency kit. One for home, a smaller one for your car. The home kit should have enough supplies to last your family for at least 3 to 5 days without power. Non-perishable food, a gallon of water per person per day. Flashlights, battery-powered or hand-crank radio, extra batteries, first aid kit. Any necessary medications, warm blankets, sleeping bags, layers of clothing. Your car kit, blankets, gloves, small shovel, ice scraper, sand or cat litter for traction, jumper cables, snacks, and water. Always keep your gas tank at least half full. So we stand at a crossroads. The sun of late summer is still warm on our skin, but the atmospheric signals are pointing toward a winter that demands our respect. La Niña is stirring in the Pacific, preparing to send a chill across the northern half of the continent. She is loading the dice for a colder, snowier season, promising a winter that feels like a real winter. The storm track is likely to be active, bringing threat after threat to the doorsteps of millions of American Seattle. Boston. Lurking above this pattern is the great wild card, the agent of chaos, the Polar Vortex. Will it wake? Will it wobble? Will it unleash a Siberian blast southward to meet La Niña's storms? If it happens, we could see a season that goes from challenging to historic. This is not a forecast meant to scare you. It is a forecast meant to empower you. Be prepared. Be ready. We will be watching every shift, and we will be here to guide you through it.